It's Brian Soscia on the Soscia Network, and I'm here with WWE Superstar Sheamus, the SmackDown brand superstar. He's here. How you doing today, Sheamus?
I'm doing fantastic, fella. Yourself?
I'm great, especially since you're here. I mean, there's so much stuff I want to ask you, and it's like it's almost going to be like a this is your life kind of thing. There's so much stuff that I feel like you've done, but people don't know that you've done.
Okay.
Let's just start.
Maybe it's best if some people don't know half the stuff I've done. Maybe that's...
Well, I got to say first, he's here to promote SmackDown, which is tomorrow night, 8 p.m., Tuesday night, Wells Fargo Center, WWE.com for tickets, or you can buy the tickets at Comcast Tix. That's 2Tix, TTIX.com. All right, let's just start from the beginning. How did you get into pro wrestling? What made you want to get into the wrestling business?
Well, we call it sports entertainment now. That's the new term for it. But I got into it now for 2000 and actually, believe it or not, I came over here in 2002. I was given a recommendation of a place called the Monster Factory, where I came over for a summer. I think it was. I saved up a load of money. I worked maybe two or three jobs to pay my way. I came over here. I met Larry Sharp. Was supposed to be running it. Bit disappointed when I found that Larry Sharp wasn't actually running the school itself. And of course, the trainer who I'd never really heard of, I think you know him by name.
Was it Ed the Razor?
Maybe Ed the Razor. But I was a bit disappointed when I found out about it. So, I mean, a lot of people say my career started in 2002. It didn't. I didn't really take anything from the Monster Factory, to be honest with you. So when I went back to Ireland, there was a school that opened up in Ireland at the end of 2004, beginning of 2005. They called Irish Whip Wrestling. And they'd done a couple of shows, bringing in foreign stars or independent stars. So my career really started in 2005, and from there, I got to get in the ring and mix up a lot of like former superstars like D'Lo Brown,
yes,
Vampiro, who was a big star in WCW for a short time, and a lot of English stars, and then went to All Star Wrestling, and from there, 2005 was when I really got into it and really became serious about following my dream and becoming a WWE superstar.
Well, you say you got a recommendation, to take it back a little bit, to go to the Monster Factory. How did you get a recommendation? Who did you talk to? Who told you to go there?
I met a couple of WWE superstars. I mean, to be honest, I was given two places to go. One was Offa's school in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
The other one was Monster Factory. It was Bret Hart, but Bret Hart tried to hit my heart. Was the one who gave me the information. I should have probably went with the other one, the latter one.
Well, yeah, Off is a great school.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do? I mean, as like a virtual unknown at that point, I mean, did Bret Hart or somebody just walk up and ask him? I mean, did you develop a relationship with Bret?
No, well, I was working in a nightclub in Dublin. There was a place called Ladies Bordello. It was a top nightclub, and they came in. They had a WWA show, World Wrestling Alliance, and I guess WCW had closed down a while, so there was some, entrepreneur from Australia was to try to set up this promotion. And Bret was a part of it. But Bret was a really cool fella. He took his time. He didn't know who I was. I wasn't nobody. He was there with his daughter. He took time out to help me and give me advice. And I contacted him via email, and he gave me a couple of options. And from there I came over to the States. But as I said, it wasn't really anything. It wasn't part of my career. I got hurt, my neck, and 2005 was when everything started for me.
Well, I did read that you did get hurt. I figured that was over here. That leads me to my next thing. As you came back from that injury, I mean, you start out, you want to be in sports entertainment. You want to be a sports entertainer. Then you hurt your neck. How does that play on your psyche? I mean, was it hard to get back in the ring? Were you nervous to get back in the ring after the neck injury? That's, as a competitor, that's a big blow. Your neck, of all things.
Yeah, it wasn't as serious as I was lucky. It wasn't as serious as it could have been. But now, of course, you do. When I got back in the ring, it was a lot of things. I mean, I wasn't in the ring that long enough in the beginning, to be honest with you. I mean, I did it for a couple of weeks in 2002, and then when it came to Ireland, I started getting in the ring for a bit more. But like anything else, if you get an injury in rugby, we play. You get your leg hurt, your neck hurt. There's always that thing where you're going to come back and overcome it. But after a week or two, you forget about it. You just get into the swing of things again. So it wasn't that hard for me to do. I just knew I had a lot of passion for what I do, and a lot of passion to become a WWE superstar. So that's all I cared about.
Okay, so you get there, and like you said, you went through Irish Whip Wrestling, which I think was Blake Norton involved with that. I remember reading about that from Blake Norton. Was there a guy named Blake Norton with that? He used to write the bagpipe report I read when I was a kid.
Yeah, there was a guy called Blake Norton who tried to pass himself off as a trainer. I guess he said he did some training up in Canada or whatever, but he was sort of involved, but he never trained me, or he never really. I mean, to me, he wasn't a trainer. I never heard of him. He wrote some guy who wrote some reports on the internet and tried to pass himself off as a trainer. So yeah, he was he's a unique individual.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So, from Irish Whip Wrestling, and you got to mix it up, like you said, with a lot of people there. And then you move on and you hit the British indie circuit. I didn't really know about this. I have to be honest, I'm a huge fan, but I wasn't familiar with this. The British independent circuit, what did you encounter on that? I mean, like coming up, like what are some of the road stories? What happened? Was it a hard road to WWE? I knew you were 2005, you said your career started, and you got signed fairly quickly.
Yeah, well, the thing about the UK was I knew I had to, like when I was in Ireland, I was only competing against guys who were like on my level or below my level, and I had a long way to go. And I'm still learning all the time. You used to want to be the best. You want to keep striving and get better and better and better. But I went over to a place called All Star Wrestling, which was where people like William Regal came from, and Finlay had been there, and all these.
Robbie Brookside, was he there?
Robbie Brookside was there as well. I've done that too. I would mention him, but I'm not sure how many people would be familiar with the name Robbie Brookside. But he's fantastic, and. I worked a couple of jobs. I paid for my flights over. I'd leave work on a Friday. I'd fly over to the UK, get picked up that night. I'd travel down to the south of England on Saturday show, Saturday, Sunday. I'd come back. I'd sleep in the airport Sunday night, fly to Dublin, get in my car, go straight to work, have a shower and work, and start my week. And that's the way my week was. And it was great. I really made me appreciate what I got working on the independents like that. And on my holidays, I didn't have a holiday for 2 years because, like, you get 4 weeks holidays a year in Ireland. Those 4 weeks were I spent traveling or wrestling in All-Star Wrestling. So I was very, very serious about it, and I always had enough belief in myself and the way I looked. I always looked different, so I get a chance. Just once I got the opportunity, I knew I'd take the ball and run with it, and that's I did. And I actually bumped into Drew McIntyre and Wade Barrett through that experience. We all got signed together, and we all had encountered each other on the independents over there. So we all got signed to the same show in England, I believe it was. It was in April 2007. So it's been a fantastic journey for all of us.
Yeah, I know. You come up, and if you meet people, it's even a sweeter victory when you come up and you can all get signed together. But that leads me to my next thing here. When you got signed, all kinds of emotions. You worked so hard to get there. What was your emotion? Where did you hear you got signed? Just paint the picture of me. The day you got signed and you heard this is official, I'm going to work for WWE. What was that like? That had to be huge.
Well, we were all at Raw and TV tapings in London in Earl's Court, and we all got signed together. It was a couple other guys who didn't make it as far as we made it sign as well. I think Rob Terry got signed as well, and he ended up in TNA.
Yeah.
No, it was a great feeling, we'd all been to a couple of tryouts together, and we all, we were told we got to work on this, and go back, and then come back again. And we came back a couple of times, and it was sweet, but none of us were under any illusion that this was it. We knew we'd have to go to developmental in FCW in the States, and we'd have to work our way up from there. And that was. The easy part was getting signed, put it that way. Really?
Then you go through FCW. What were your experiences in FCW? You hear a lot of good things. You do hear some bad, too. What was your overall experience in FCW?
No, my experience in FCW was all positive. Everything was great. I went in there the first time, I have to admit now, and I was a bit shocked when I saw this massive warehouse with four rings and fans going everywhere. And to my left, it was an overstock from Publix supermarket, which was kind of because they were just building FCW. And now I go down there and I see a state-of-the-art facility. We did a show in Melbourne. Like when we were doing shows in small bars and stuff for 20 people maybe. And now I see Melbourne. I was doing an autograph signing there. There was nearly 900 people in Melbourne. And I think I owe a lot to Steve Karen, Dr. Tom, Dusty, Norman, Billy Kidman. A lot of those guys helped a lot. They put us through the drill. They didn't take it easy on us. They knew we wanted it. They knew that we asked them to push us all the time in the ring. And that's what you want. I mean, the thing about the trainers is you can't be pushed in you can't be told certain things. You have to want it, and we all wanted it. A lot of guys who want it. Some guys don't want it. Maybe they want it, but they're not willing to work as hard as they should. So, but if you want it, the trainers were always there for advice at any time. They could pick up the phone, and they pushed us. And we asked to be pushed, and they pushed us. And, we've been very successful, all three of us. Me, the two-time WWE champion, King of the Ring, U.S. champion, Wade Barrett running the Nexus, taking over Raw for such amount of time. And, of course, Drew McIntyre, former Intercontinental champion as well. So it's definitely paid off. And, all three of us have a big, we want to have huge careers in the WWE for a long, long time, and we know we can.
You know, I was just saying that the other day to someone, I feel like you're a guy that's going to be around for a long time, and you talk about good trainers, top notch there, advice too. What do you think was the best, piece of advice maybe you've received since joining WWE? Who did that come from? Is there anything off the top of your head you can think of?
There's so much, fella. There's a lot of, like, when I got up on the road, then I was very lucky because I went with William Regal. And, I got advice off him. I got advice off the best guys in the business, Arn Anderson, Triple H, John Cena was a few. All these things helped me. All these things, it wasn't just one person. And I knew going in there, like, whatever people want to say, I knew that to get better, you have to take the advice and get the coaching off the best people, the people who have been most so successful. And that's what I did, and that's what I continue to do because, when I won the first WWE Championship, people were saying, "Oh, you did it, you made it. Now what?" I was like, "Now what?" I was like, "Are you serious? This is like just one WWE Championship. I won it in a short time. I want to build a legacy. I want to have great matches. I want to have matches that people talk about for years. I want to main event WrestleMania. I want to be the best WWE champion, best world champion there's ever been. I want to be the most decorated, accoladed superstar ever. I'm hungry, fella." And as I said, at SmackDown in the Wells Fargo Center tomorrow night in Philadelphia, they're going to see just how passionate I am. And that goes for every superstar in SmackDown. You got Randy Orton, who's there 10 years. He's chasing Christian for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's going to be a street fight that's only going to be available to people of Philadelphia. You got Mark Henry, who's just hit it into like fifth gear all of a sudden. He's destroying everybody. You got Wade Barrett, former Nexus leader, who me and him went against it on Friday. We're still young superstars. We're all trying to make a name for ourselves. We're putting on the best show possible. We know people pay good money to come and see WWE. We know people want to be entertained. We know there's, we know that they want to go away and know that they had a great show. And that's what we do every night of the week. We put on the best show we possibly can.
Definitely.
And that's what it's all about.
That's he said more than I could even say. I was going to close the interview up. You might be taking my job after that. That was phenomenal. It's the best value in family entertainment. I will add that.
No, chance, fella. I'm not wearing a tie.
I wore a tie for you. I never wear a tie to work. WWE.com for tickets or ComcastTix.com. SmackDown, of course, tomorrow night. Tuesday night, 8 p.m., Wells Fargo Center. Everybody's going to be there. If you're a wrestling fan, you need to get there. I'll be there. It's going to be huge. And you can see this big man, Sheamus, in action. You got to watch this and come after you, though.
As the camera slowly turns towards me. What are you looking at, fella?